All right there. Hello. I'm David, and I was sent a list of questions to answer about stuttering. I have the list right on this computer screen, so I'm going to be going off this list trying to answer as many as I can to the best of my abilities, and I hope this works. The first question somebody asked me was, did you go to speech therapy? I did. I went to speech therapy when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, and grad school. So after college, I even went to speech therapy because I really wanted to improve my stutter, and I thought speech therapy would help. So I would practice hard in speech therapy. Did I like having a stutter? Yes and no. I like having a stutter because it makes me unique and special, and I've had a lot of experiences that other people haven't had. So I do like being different and being unique and special. What kind of stutter do I have? Mine is a stutter where I block. So mine's not a repetition. So it's not like I. Mine is like ball, and like I struggle to get the word out. Like it just gets stuck. Um, how did I get a stutter? I don't know. It's just when I was younger and I started talking, I started stuttering. Um, and how do I handle it? Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes I have really hard days, and then other days are easier and I speak better. But every day is a new day, so every day you get to try again. Um, do I have a girlfriend? Yep, I do have a girlfriend. Uh, have I ever been teased? Uh, Not a lot, but I have heard some jokes and some teasing when I was younger. As you get older, not too many people judge you by things like that. It's more the kind of person you are and not really how you talk. So it's more about the things you have to say than how you actually say them. Um, but kids can sometimes be mean when they don't understand something, and so there is some teasing. But the good people outweigh the bad people. What did you do as a kid to help your stutter? Well, when I was a kid, I didn't really talk a lot because I was really worried about my stutter. Um, so, I was in speech therapy, but I kind of like just tried to practice my speech in speech therapy to help. It was harder as a kid because I didn't really want to talk too much. Um, but as I got older, I tried to really work on my speech. Why do I stutter? I don't know. It's just something I was born with, I think, and it came about as I got older. Um, I think I stutter more when I'm like a little bit worried about a word I'm going to say or anxious about a word. It is frustrating. Sometimes I'll have tough days where I don't speak too good. Like in my job, I have to talk a lot. And some days, if I have like an important meeting and I don't speak that good, I get really like frustrated because it's like, did it impact the meeting? But when I really think about it, like I said before, it's not really how you say it, but just that you say it, and it's more about how you come across and not exactly how you sound. So it can be frustrating, but the good always outweighs the bad in both people and days. So I try to lean on the fact that I have a lot of good things in my life, and my speech is just one little part of me, and that there's a lot more to me than just how I talk. So it can be frustrating, but it gets better. Someone asks, can I fix my stutter? uh, you can't fix it completely, but it can improve and get better. And as you become more comfortable with yourself and with your speech, it definitely can get better. How much do you stutter? Well, I used to stutter a lot. Like right now, I'm speaking pretty good. When I was little, I couldn't speak at all. I would barely say anything. I couldn't get words out. I didn't like talking. Now I love talking. I give presentations and I'm on TV sometimes and I make phone calls. Um, so I stutter sometimes, but not as often as I used to. And sometimes it depends on the situation. When do you stutter? Like more often when it's like a really important speech. Like I had to give a presentation 2 months ago in front of 400 people, and I stuttered a bunch, but I was a little bit worried, and I think that kind of caused me to stutter even more. And I stutter a lot when people expect me to say something, like when they ask me my name or my phone number or my address, because it's something they want to know the exact answer and not just a question like, how are you doing? So I stutter more when it's like that. Why do you stutter? Kind of, as I said before, I'm not sure. It's kind of how I started talking when I was younger, and now I've just worked on it as I've gotten older. What strategies help me the most? Um, Probably just being open with my speech, just like accepting like that. Okay, I'm a person who stutters. It's okay. Just the acceptance of it, I think is important, and being okay with it, and then wanting to work on it. And like I said, a lot of my speech was the where I get like stuck. So what helps me is to kind of like pause, kind of like come out of the block and try to just do a light touch. Because if I'm like squeezing on a word hard, if I just do a light touch on the word instead of squeezing on it, like with my lips, a light touch, then that helps a lot. And I like to, anytime I stutter, go back and say it again. Um, so say it again until I don't stutter on it, so I can kind of get the feeling that I can say this word without stuttering. Um, when did you start stuttering? When I was younger, probably around like 5 or 6. I was young. Am I married? Nope, not married. Um, did you go to college? Yep. I went to SUNY Oswego, um, up here in New York. Uh, what did I study? I studied kinesiology, which is the study of the human body for like exercise science. And I got a bachelor's, which means I went to school for 4 years, and then a master's, which was another 2 years. Do you get teased? Again, a little bit, but as you get older, that it just gets better and better because people don't care about that kind of stuff. It's not really as important as we think it is as we're younger. Some people, at least at my age, now that I'm older, seem to be more confused, like, oh, this is different. But it's an opportunity to kind of tell them about stuttering or talk to them. Like when I was younger, I would always do a presentation in school about stuttering, so all the other kids would kind of understand, what stuttering is, so they weren't confused. But sometimes adults are confused about speech and stuttering, so I don't really get confused. I mean, I don't get teased, but I do think that some people get confused. Do you separate yourself from the people who stutter? No, I'm involved in stuttering groups. There's groups for adults who stutter, and I run what they call a chapter, which a bunch of us people in the area where I live who stutter, we come together and hang out once a month and just talk about stuttering. Do people ask you, do you stutter? No, no one really asked me that. Um, no, that's a good question. I wonder if people ask you guys. When I was younger, I think kids are more interested in that, like asking those kind of pointed questions, I guess you would call it. But adults really don't say too much. Is it hard to talk? Um, Not as much as it used to be. It used to be really hard to talk. Like this right here, this would have taken me all day to say what I'm saying to you. But as I've gotten more comfortable and I went through speech therapy and worked on my techniques and got more comfortable and more experience, it's made talking easier for me. Do you stutter because you can't see a word? Um, that's a question that's kind of confusing, but um, like I can see the word, so I know what it is I want to say. Um, but sometimes like you can't see how to get through it, if that's what you mean. Like, because I have all these techniques, so sometimes it's tough. Like, all right, well, I know what the word is, but how should I try to say it without stuttering? Sometimes that can be tough. And sometimes you don't want to go through all the techniques and you just want to get it out. So sometimes it's just okay to stutter and you just get it out. Well, it's always okay to stutter, but when you stutter, are you different than other people? Yep, everybody's different. We got something special, a different way to talk. So we're lucky in some ways. It can be frustrating and annoying, but it's also something that you see that a lot of people, um, wish they had something unique about them, and everybody does, I guess. But ours is just more. You can see our difference, or you can hear our difference. Do you say funny words? Yes, I definitely have gotten stuck before and either said a funny word or made up a word to get through a stutter. How long have you been stuttering? So I said it was about 5. Now I'm 32. So what's that? 32 minus 5, 27 years or so. Did you ever get bullied? Just what I said before, just kids kind of teasing you here and there, but I was never bullied. Um, did you go to therapy? Yep. So, like I had said, I went to therapy for a long time, almost 18 years total of different kinds of therapy. Did I play sports? Yep. I played a lot of sports. I played sports throughout my whole life and in high school and a little bit in college. And sports definitely helped me because it was a way for me to make friends when I didn't want to talk to a lot of people because of my speech. But when you're in sports, you're hanging out with the same group of people, and sometimes you just build friendships from that. And I went to school at Bishop Grimes in Syracuse, and then to colleges around here in Syracuse, in the Syracuse area. The rest of the questions are just about me. My favorite sport is probably baseball. My favorite baseball team is the Baltimore Orioles. I was born here in Syracuse. I'm not friends with Captain America, at least not yet. And I also like to play outside. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for asking me all those cool questions. And hope to talk to you again.